football fans, we are ready for NFL picks for week number 14 in the league where they play. For pay! Great to be back with you. The best audience in all of YouTube is right here, coming off a spectacular week last week, 13-2, 12-2 with the picks, 1-0 with the over and unders. The only two games I lost were the Vikings and the Niners. I did win the Giant game because that spread went from 3 to 6 when Jones went out with the injury. So I did cover with the Giants in a two-team teaser. Spectacular week last week, 13-2. Let's keep it going. Hard to believe we're in week number 14. We're coming down the home stretch. Pick number 1. Let's go to Nashville, Tennessee. Music City, with the Tennessee Titans at -10 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville down to 2-10, got obliterated on the West Coast by the Rams. I don't even know why the Jaguars bothered to even get on a flight to the West Coast. They've been to the West Coast a couple times this year and have done nothing. They have done nothing in the game. Not a shock. Not a shock they got blown out by the Rams, but can they put up a little bit of an effort? Come on, Jacksonville. Tennessee, they're 8-4. They're coming off a bye. Are they going to get some of these healthy bodies back? They have too many injuries right now. The running back, Dupree's out. The receivers are out. Everybody's out on Tennessee. Have to get some of these healthy bodies back on the field. If they do that, Tennessee is a really good team. As far as this game, you know where I'm going here. 3-team teaser, 9 points. Move it to 1 and take the Titans. Is there any other way to go here? The Titans are coming off a bye. They're home. They hadn't played well before the bye. You know they're an angry bunch of Titans. Vrabel's going to have them ready to play. And Jacksonville flat out stinks. They stink. They're 2-10. Tennessee should roll despite all the injuries. Tennessee big. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2. Let's go down to Houston, Texas, with the Seattle Seahawks at -7 against the Houston Texans. Texans also down to 2-10. They got bombed by Indianapolis in front of what I would call a light crowd down there in Houston. By the time that game was over, I couldn't count 10 fans in the stands. And then you got the Seahawks. Very nice win by the Seahawks. They're up to 4-8. They beat the San Francisco 49ers. That was the Seahawks we're accustomed to seeing. The crowd was really into it. Wilson looked good. They made some big plays on offense. They made some stops on defense. They look inspired. Pete Carroll running around the sidelines. That was the Seahawks we expected to see the whole year. And I know Wilson's injury had a lot to do with their poor season, but Seattle had not played well in a long time. That was a good win for the Seahawks. They're up to 4-8. As far as this game, listen, there's no other way to go in this game. Either 2-team teaser, 6 points, move it to 1 and take the Seahawks. They're coming off a nice win, and the Texans, like the Jaguars, are just awful. You can't take them. You can't do it. Seahawks, pick number 2. Pick number 3, let's go to the dog pound in Cleveland for a very big division game. The Cleveland Browns are -2.5 against the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore down to 8-4, loses a heartbreaker to Pittsburgh. They go for 2 at the end and miss it. Cleveland, they're coming off a bye. Remember, they had just played Baltimore a couple weeks ago and lost, I believe it was 16-10. Cleveland's offense has to do more. Their defense is doing all they can. The offense doesn't do enough, though. Doesn't do enough. So as I just mentioned, the first game a few weeks ago was 16-10 Baltimore. This should be the same type of game, a slobber knocker type of game, a defensive struggle. Look for the under in this game. I'm going to move the line to 8.5 in a 2-team teaser and take the Ravens. I know the Ravens have a lot of people out, especially in the secondary, but the Browns have not shown me they can put up points on a consistent basis. I think this game is close. I love the Ravens with 8.5 here. That's pick number 3 in a very big division game. Pick number 4. Let's go to the Mile High City, Denver, Colorado, where the Denver Broncos are -8 against the Detroit Lions. The Lions finally do it. They finally get a win. They're up to 110-1. They beat the Vikings with no time left in the game. We'll get to the Vikings later. Denver, they're down to 6-6, lost to Kansas City. Denver had their chances in this game. They moved the ball, but they kept committing bad turnovers. Bridgewater was not good, had some bad picks in this game. I'll tell you, it's funny. The Broncos picked a lot of good rookies in the last draft, but they didn't take a quarterback. And they had a chance to take Jones or Fields. Instead, they went with Bridgewater. Bridgewater, to me, is not the answer. He's not the answer. Neither is Locke. Broncos need a quarterback. They have some good young players, but they need that quarterback. They passed on a few last year. Let's see if they go quarterback in the draft this year, because Bridgewater is not the answer. He played a bad game. Denver was moving the ball in this game, but they kept shooting themselves in the foot, so they're down to 6-6. I know Detroit won last week. I understand that, but I still can't trust them. The spread's 8. 2-team teaser moving to 2. I have to like the Broncos. They're home. They're 6-6. They're still in the playoff hunt. They're usually a good home team. They had a big home win a couple weeks ago against the Chargers. I think they'll respond off the loss and play better here. And I don't trust the Lions to win 2 in a row. Come on, the Lions might not win a game the rest of the year. So I like Denver in a 2-team teaser at home, -2. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5, great game here, must-watch game. Let's go down to Tampa Bay, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are -3.5 against the Buffalo Bills. Tampa Bay up to 9-3, beat Atlanta. Brady, another big game. Gronkowski, another big game. I've been saying that for 2 decades. Buffalo, they're down to 7-5. Lost a tough game in the cold, windy weather up in Buffalo to New England. Buffalo's got to watch it right now. They're 7-5. They're in Tampa this week. Then they go to New England. Buffalo doesn't start to win some games. They could be on the outside looking in. We know they have the talent. We know they could play with anyone. But they got to win some games. 7-5 is not good enough for this Bill team. Not good enough. They should be better than this. They should be better than this. This is a very, very interesting game. I'm going to move it to 9.5 and take the Bills. I have to think this game is going to be a field goal game either way. Buffalo has to be extremely, extremely desperate here. I think they're going to play well. I think a lot of points are going to be scored in this game. I think it's a field goal game either way. So I'll take the Bills with 9.5 and a 2-team teaser in a must-watch game. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6. Let's go to the jungle in Cincinnati. Where 2 teams that are in the playoff mix right now, actually in a playoff spot right now, play. The Cincinnati Bengals at home, -1.5 against the San Francisco 49ers. Bengals down to 7-5, lost to the Chargers. Too many turnovers. Too many turnovers. They were down big in this game, rallied all the way back. They're about to take the lead. Fumbles, interceptions, too many turnovers. Burrow hurts his finger. He's going to play through that, so keep an eye on that. And then you got the Niners. Oh, the Niners. They were playing so well. They were playing so well, but now they're down to 6-6. They were up 23-14 in this game against Seattle and fell apart. Fell apart. Played a gruesome football game. Penalties all over the place. How bad were the Niners' special teams? Missed an extra point. Seattle runs a fake punt. They run it 70 yards untouched for a touchdown. The Niners fumble a kickoff. All sorts of mistakes on special teams. Niner defense not great. Have a chance to tie the game at the end. And Garoppolo just throws a soft pass up in the end. It's knocked down. Come on, Garoppolo. Put some mustard on that ball. Get it over the defender there. It's the last play of the game. Come on, Garoppolo. That was a bad loss for the Niners. And where's Lance been? I mean, they got Garoppolo running the the run pass option. Isn't that Lance's game? Haven't seen Lance in a month now. I thought they loved this guy. That was a bad loss for the Niners. They played atrocious football, especially in the second half. Pitiful football. And their defense has to play better. So 2 teams coming off a loss here. 2 teams with issues. 2 teams, though, still in a playoff spot. I'm going to move it to 7.5 and take the Niners just because I can't pick a winner. I think it's going right down to the end. Last team with the ball wins. I'll take the Niners plus 7.5. That's pick number 6. Pick number 7. Let's go to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, where the Kansas City Chiefs are -9 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Chiefs up to 8-4, beat Denver. Chief defense playing a lot better. I mean, a lot better. They're a totally different team now. They used to be all offense, no defense. Now they're more defense than offense. Just happened in a couple weeks. Hard to believe. Vegas, oh my goodness, they're down to 6-6, lost to Washington at home. If you're a Vegas fan, you got to feel like you could have won that game. You should have won that game. And then you lose the game. Now you're back down to 6-6. The Vegas Raiders up and down all the time. Up and down. They win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They come off that nice win against the Cowboys on the road. They're home for Washington, who's okay. But you got to handle your business at home against Washington, right, Vegas? That's a game Vegas has to win. By the way, I picked Washington. As far as this game, I know it's a division rival. I know a lot's on the line. But to me, the way these teams are playing, 3-team teaser, 9 points, move to pick them and take the Chiefs. The Chiefs are home. They're on a roll, and Vegas is too up and down for me. I just don't know what I'm going to get on a week-to-week basis from them. Sometimes they're really good. Sometimes they're really bad. The Chiefs are more consistent. They're home. I like Andy Reid. I'm going Chiefs there. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8. This is the Thursday night football game, which I will not bet, but I will pick here. Let's go to Minnesota. Let's go to Minnesota, where the Minnesota Vikings are -3.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers up to 6-5-1, beat Baltimore. That was a gritty, gutty win by the Steelers. They're still in the playoff race. This will be Roethlisberger's last year. So the Steelers are going to be looking for quarterback, either in, the draft, by trade. Roethlisberger's last year. He's had a great career. He's been to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 of them. You can't complain if you're a Steeler fan about Big Ben. That was a gutty win for the Steelers. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, the Minnesota Vikings. They're down to 5-7. They lose to Detroit with no time left in the game. They let Detroit waltz down the field at the end of the game. I couldn't believe how bad the Vikings defense played the last couple minutes of this game. You talk about soft. I mean, just ridiculous. Detroit, pass caught out of bounds. Pass caught out of bounds. Pass over the middle. Broken tackle. Go out of bounds. The Vikings couldn't make a tackle. They couldn't keep them in bounds. They were playing soft. Awful. Awful. They were only rushing 3. You should have rushed more there. The one time they did rush, they got to Goff. They got to him and knocked him down. But they didn't go to that too often, the Vikings. They were continuously rushing 3 people. Goff had all day to survey the field, and despite the Vikings having 8 people back in coverage, Lions were open all over the field, including the last play of the game. Can you explain that last play of the game to me? Detroit's at what? The Minnesota 10. Last play of the game, Detroit receiver runs a simple curl in, wide open. Minnesota quarterback lost in space, dropping off, lets him catch the ball in the end zone in front of him. Talk about horrible defense. Horrible defense. Horrible defense. And Mike Zimmer, to me, can go as a coach. He can go. And I love to blame this on Cousins. I'm leaving Cousins out of this. This is on the defense. The defense was bad last year, and it's just as bad this year, and I've seen enough of Mike Zimmer. And I've seen enough of the defensive coordinators. They have co-defensive coordinators in Minnesota. They have, Peterson, Patterson, and Adam Zimmer. Mike Zimmer's son helps on the defense. They all can go. They all can go. The way they played that last 2 minutes was atrocious. That's how coaches get fired. Detroit ran a little play over the middle to the running back at midfield. Minnesota had about 4 guys that could tackle him in bounds. Detroit has no timeouts, and they let him get out of bounds. Despicable. And the last play of the game was just awful. One word. Soft. 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 The Vikings are soft. Their defense is soft. You know when the last time the Minnesota Vikings won a Super Bowl was? They haven't won a Super Bowl. The last time they were in a Super Bowl was 1977. That's the last time they were in a Super Bowl. They've never won a Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era because they're soft. They're soft. When they had good teams in the 70s, they played outside. They should get back outside like the Lions. Both of those teams are soft. Get them back outside. The Vikings are soft. That was a despicable display of defense. I couldn't believe they let Detroit catch that ball in the front of the end zone with no resistance. Rushing 3, no pressure on Goff, yet they drop 8 and still there's people open. How is that possible? Mike Zimmer can go. Both defensive coordinators can go, including Mike Zimmer's son, Adam Zimmer. He can go. The whole defense can go because the Vikings are soft. They're soft. They're soft. They're soft. They're soft. They're soft. They're soft. That was an awful loss by the Vikings. They could have got up to 6-6. And they lose to Detroit with no time left? Embarrassing. Embarrassing. They're a bunch of cream puffs on defense. They should go back to playing outside just like the Lions. Maybe it'll toughen them up. How many Super Bowls have the Vikings won? It rhymes with hero. The last time they were in a Super Bowl was 1977. This is the Vikings. This is the Vikings. I can't believe it. Year after year, they fall on their face, and Mike Zimmer can go. Soft, 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 soft. You're embarrassing, Minnesota. That defense is deplorable. Let Detroit waltz down the field like that. I couldn't believe it. And just on general principle, I'm moving this line to 9.5 and taking the Steelers. I'm sick of the Vikings. I'm sick of Mike Zimmer. That's pick number 8. Pick number 9, let's go out to Los Angeles, where the LA Chargers are -10 against the New York Football Giants. Here's another one, the Giants. Chargers are up to 7-5. Good road win in Cincinnati. And then you got the Giants. They're down to 4-8, lost to Miami. Jones is out. What else is new? Somebody's always out on the Giants. Receivers are out, quarterbacks out, running backs out. There's always somebody out. Glennon was in there. Yes, Glennon. He gets a concussion. But don't worry, Giant fans. Don't worry. You have signed Jake Fromm off the practice squad from the Bills. Jake Fromm could be quarterbacking the New York Football Giants this week. Oh, yeah! Woo! Oh, my goodness. Jones, as a starting quarterback for the Giants in what, 3-4 years, whatever it's been, 12-27 as the Giants starting quarterback. Judge as the Giants coach, 10-19. I got a stat for all you Giant fans. The Giants have the 5th worst record in the NFL this year. The only 4 teams that are worse than the Giants this year, the Lions, the Jaguars, the Texans, and the New York Football Jets. That's how bad the Giants are this year. You don't realize it, but they're that bad. 4-8. And after a while, the excuses of people getting hurt has to stop. Maybe these guys are just injury prone. Again, Jones won't play this week. I'm sure a litany of receivers will be out. It's always some story with the Giants. Wait till next year when they're all healthy. It's getting late for Mr. Jones. I'm sure they'll give him another year, but the Giants spent a ton of money in the offseason and have got nothing in return. They're the 5th worst team in the NFL. What do they have? One more win than the Jets? And we know the Jets are pathetic. The Giants should be better than this. And I'm not expecting big things from them. They should be better than this. And oh, by the way, they're in last place as well. And that division has 2 teams in it that aren't even above 500. And the Giants are still in last place. Let me say it again. Daniel Jones as a starting quarterback. 12-27. And he's out this week. Glennon's out, but don't worry, here comes big bad Jake Fromm off the Bills practice squad. Oh, yeah. Chargers, by the way, have about 15 guys in virus protocol, so keep an eye on that. Three-team teaser moving to 1 and take the Chargers. Yeah, I have to like the Chargers. I cannot take the Giants with Jake Fromm. Sorry, can't do it. That's pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go down to Carolina. With the Carolina Panthers at -3 against the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, boy. Both of these teams are 5-7. Carolina's coming off a bye. Remember, McCaffrey's out for the year. Donald's out for the year. Newton was awful 2 weeks ago. Hard to believe Carolina was at one time 3-0 this season. They've been 2-7 since. Atlanta, they're 5-7, lost to Tampa Bay. Listen, it's time for Atlanta to rebuild. It's time for Atlanta to maybe go in a different direction. Maybe it's time for Matt Ryan to move on to another team. Atlanta's got to rebuild and change this whole thing. They had a chance to beat New England in the Super Bowl not too long ago, but it's all gone downhill since. As far as this game, this is a slop bowl. This is a mess. I'll move it tonight and take Atlanta, but I wouldn't recommend playing that game. It's just an ugly, messy game. That's pick number 10. Pick number 11. Oh, speaking of ugly and messy. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey as I'm losing my voice thanks to the Vikings. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, not too far from where I am here, with the New Orleans Saints. Who dat? -6 against the New York Football Jets. Jets, Jets. Jets are down to 3-9, lost to Philly. What else is new? They had a lead early, didn't do anything in the second half. I don't know what Jet fans think of Wilson. I don't know. Jets are going to have 2 picks in the top 10 this year. It's hard for me to think they're going to take another quarterback, right? You're going to give up on Wilson already? I don't think they'll do that. But I know the Jet fans are already looking forward to that draft. 2 picks in the top 10. New Orleans, they're down to 5-7, lost to Dallas. Like I said, they're shot. Hill did play, but he's banged up. The Saints got a million guys out. Kamara didn't even play again. The Saints are just a mess. They're just a mess. This is a messy game. This says it all. This says how bad the Jets really are, that the Saints on the road at 5-7 are 6-point favorites in the Meadowlands. That says all you need to know about the Jets. I'm sorry, though. I cannot take the Saints on the road, given points. I'll move it to 12 in a 2-team teaser and take the Jets. I got 12 points. The Jets are home, and I don't trust the Saints at all. The Saints don't put up a lot of points. I would think the Jets could at least hang in this game. Always dangerous taking the New York Football Jets, but I'll take them here. This is an anti-Saint pick. That's pick number 11. Pick number 12. This is the Sunday Night Football game with the Green Bay Packers at -12 against the Chicago Bears. Bears are down to 4-8, lost to Arizona. Dalton had 4 picks. I think we've seen enough of Mr. Andy Dalton. Green Bay, they're 9-3, coming off a bye. Needed that bye. Rodgers has the hurt toe. We'll see how he plays this week. You know he's going to play. I'm sure he'll play well despite the hurt toe. Listen, we know about this rivalry. It's been all Green Bay. They played in Chicago, a month or so ago. Rodgers went in the end zone and was telling the Bear fans he owns them. He does. I think Rodgers is 25-4 against the Bears, something crazy like that. 14 teaser, 12 points, moving to pick them and take the Pack. You can't think the Pack are going to lose to the Bears. The Packers are home. They need the game. They're fighting for top seed in the NFC. Chicago's finished. I don't know if Fields is playing. Dalton's horrible. Mac's out. I don't like Chicago at all. Gotta like Green Bay there on Sunday Night Football. That's pick number 12. Pick number 13. Really good game here. This is the Monday Night Football game. Let's go out to the desert with the Arizona Cardinals. A -2.5 against the L.A. Rams. Arizona up to 10-2. I just mentioned they beat Chicago. They got Murray and Hopkins back. How good is Arizona playing this year on both sides of the ball? Defense playing well. Added those key veterans, as I've mentioned, including Connor, the running back, the ex-Steeler. He's had a really nice year. You can't really say anything bad about Arizona. They are playing lights-out football right now. They are a definite contender. They're top seed right now in the NFC. The Rams, they're up to 8-4. No surprise they beat up on Jacksonville. That don't impress me much, though. I think that was a song by somebody. I forgot who. Was it Amy Grant? I forgot who it was. That don't impress me much, beating the Jacksonville Jaguars. I knew they beat up on them. Can they beat a quality team on the road now? Can they beat Arizona? This is the time where the Rams really have to step up. There is time. You get hot now, you can do some damage. As I always say, the Bucs did it last year. The Rams would show me a lot if they went into Arizona and won this game. I don't trust them. So I'm going to move this line to 3.5 in a 2-team teaser and take the Cardinals. The Cardinals just whacked around the Rams in Los Angeles. The Rams have to show me they can do it on the road before I pick them against a quality team. So I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals in a wraparound teaser. I'll take them plus 3.5 here. Definitely a game to keep an eye on. A very interesting game, but I'll go Cardinals. That's pick number 13. And pick number 14, big rivalry game here. Let's go down to Washington, D.C. with the Dallas Cowboys. A -4 against the Washington football team. Washington had a nice win. They are up to 6-6. Went into Las Vegas and beat the Raiders. They lose Thomas, unfortunately, for the year. Washington saying that was a dirty hit. I'll let you be the judge of that. He's gone for the year. They just got him back, and now he's gone for the year. But that was a good win for Washington. They are sitting in a playoff spot right now. And then you got Dallas. They're up to 8-4. They got back to their winning ways, beat the Saints. This is a huge rivalry game. They've played 122 times in their history. Dallas holds a 73-47 lead. There have been 2 ties. If you asked me who is going to win straight up, no points, money line, I would say Dallas. I don't know if Washington is going to have the firepower to keep up with Dallas. I could be talked into a teaser with 10, preferably 10.5 points with Washington. But if you ask me who is going to win, I say Dallas squeaks it out. That's pick number 14. 4 teams on a bye this week. The Colts are on a bye. They're 7-6, beat Houston. The Colts are a dangerous team. If they get in the playoffs, they could upset somebody. They are built for cold weather. They're a dangerous team, the Colts. Pats, they're up to 9-4. They're on their bye. Beat Buffalo in a cold, windy game in Buffalo. They only threw the ball 3 times. They won anyway. Patriots are having a magnificent season right now. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC. Eagles, they're on a bye. They're up to 6-7. They beat the Jets. Minshew is really good. Eagles still alive as well for a playoff spot. And how about the Dolphins? They're on a bye. They're up to 6-7. Beat the Giants. The Dolphin defense has been really good the last month and a half. They've gotten all the way up to 6-7. Don't know if they can get all the way back to a playoff spot in the AFC, but they have made it interesting. They have played really good football. I expected the Dolphins to do this all year. It took them a while to get going, but that defense is really playing well. So give them credit for not giving up on the season. They are up to 6-7. Those are your 4 teams on a bye. There you go. You're all set. You're all caught up for week number 14 already. We're heading down the home stretch. I'm coming off a monster 13-2 week. Let's keep it going. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. Thanks as always for the support. The best audience in all of YouTube is right here. Enjoy the games this week. I'll talk to you next Tuesday. Take care.